You're not bad with money. You're following rules that don't work anymore. Most of us grew up believing that money problems happen only when someone is careless, that if you follow the rules, stay disciplined, work hard, and don't do anything wrong, life will eventually feel stable. But something strange is happening. Today, there are millions of people doing everything they were told and still feeling stressed, tired, and behind. Not because they're lazy, not because they're irresponsible, but because the rules they're following were written for a world that doesn't exist anymore. If you've ever thought, "Why isn't this working for me?" This video is for you, because today we're talking about 5 money rules that don't work anymore, and more importantly, what actually makes sense now. Let's start with something almost everyone has heard since childhood. Save first, then spend. It sounds responsible. It sounds mature. It sounds like common sense. And years ago, it actually worked. When housing was affordable, healthcare wasn't crushing, and groceries didn't feel like a luxury, people could save first because their basic survival didn't consume their entire paycheck. But today, for many people, money is already gone before it even arrives. Rent, utilities, food, transport, insurance, minimum debt payments. By the time all that is handled, there's not much left to save first. So what happens? People feel guilty. They feel like they're failing. They start believing they're bad with money. But the problem isn't discipline. The problem is pressure. When survival costs take up most of your income, saving first becomes a fantasy, not a strategy. In today's world, the realistic approach is different. You don't save first, you survive first. You understand your fixed costs, you protect your essentials, and then you save whatever is possible without destroying your mental health. Saving something small, consistently, is better than planning something big and failing every month. The old rule created shame. The new mindset creates sustainability. The second rule sounds even stricter. Avoid all debt. This advice came from a time when debt usually meant trouble, high interest, low returns, and fewer opportunities to use debt strategically. But today, debt is everywhere, and pretending all debt is evil doesn't help anyone, because there's a difference between destructive debt and strategic debt. Credit card debt used for lifestyle you can't afford? That's dangerous. But debt used to learn a skill, build income, or survive a temporary hard phase, that's reality. Telling someone to avoid all debt while offering no alternative is like telling someone to swim without water. In modern life, many people didn't go into debt because they were reckless. They did it because education costs money. Medical emergencies don't wait. Life doesn't pause. The real rule shouldn't be avoid all debt. It should be understand the cost of your debt, the purpose of your debt, and the exit plan. Blind fear of debt keeps people stuck. Blind use of debt keeps people broke. Awareness is what actually protects you. Then there's the rule that hurts the most emotionally. Hard work always pays off. This rule sounds noble. It's deeply connected to our identity and self-worth. We were told that if we work harder than everyone else, things will eventually work out. But today, millions of hard-working people are exhausted, underpaid, and invisible. Not because effort doesn't matter, but because effort alone is no longer enough. The modern economy doesn't reward effort evenly. It rewards leverage, timing, visibility, and skills that scale. Two people can work equally hard and end up in completely different places. That doesn't mean one deserves more and the other deserves less. It means the system has changed. Hard work without direction leads to burnout. Hard work without leverage leads to stagnation. The updated truth is uncomfortable but freeing. Hard work is necessary, but it needs strategy, positioning, and rest. If you're tired all the time and still struggling, it's not because you're weak, it's because you're pushing with the wrong expectations. Another rule everyone feels pressure from: buy a house as soon as possible.
For decades, home ownership was the ultimate sign of success and stability. And in many cases, it genuinely helped families build wealth. But today, rushing into a house can be one of the most stressful financial decisions someone makes. Prices are high, interest rates are unpredictable, maintenance costs are real, and job stability isn't guaranteed. Buying a house without emotional and financial readiness doesn't create peace, it creates anxiety. Yet people still feel like they're falling behind if they don't own property by a certain age. Comparison has replaced context. In the past, buying early worked because wages, prices, and security were aligned. Today, timing matters more than age. Renton is no longer throwing money away if it allows flexibility, safety, and mental stability. The new rule isn't buy early, it's buy when ready. And ready doesn't mean perfect, it means informed, stable, and realistic. Then there's the smallest rule with the biggest guilt attached. Cut small expenses, skip coffee, cancel tiny joys, remove comfort. This advice became popular because it feels controllable. It gives people something to blame. But cutting small expenses rarely fixes big financial stress. No amount of skipped coffee can compensate for unaffordable rent. No small sacrifice can outpace structural costs. What happens instead is emotional damage. People remove the few things that make life enjoyable. They feel deprived. They give up. The real solution isn't cutting joy, it's understanding scale. Focus on big decisions: housing, transport, income growth, debt management. Protect small comforts that keep you sane. Money management should support your life, not punish it. Now, if you've been listening carefully, you might notice a pattern. None of these rules were evil, they were just designed for a different time. And following outdated rules doesn't make you irresponsible, it makes you human. There's another truth people don't talk about enough. The biggest money rule today isn't about saving or spending. Social media has changed how we experience money. We're constantly exposed to lifestyles without context, success without timelines, wins without losses. Comparison has become a hidden tax. You don't just pay with money, you pay with confidence. You start thinking you're behind when you're actually surviving. You start chasing appearances instead of stability. This silent pressure pushes people into bad decisions, spending to feel normal, rushing to catch up, judging themselves harshly. The old rules never prepared us for this. So what actually works now? Awareness over guilt, progress over perfection, context over comparison. Modern money isn't about being perfect, it's about being adaptable. It's about understanding that financial stability today looks different for everyone. If you're paying your bills, learning, adjusting, and staying honest with yourself, you're not failing, you're navigating, and that matters. If you're still here listening, take a moment. You didn't imagine the struggle. You didn't make it up. You didn't suddenly become bad with money. The rules changed quietly, and nobody warned us. So if any of these rules hurt you, confused you, or made you doubt yourself, you're not alone. You're not broken. You're just living in a new economy with old advice. And the moment you understand that, something powerful happens. The shame disappears, the pressure eases, and clarity begins. Money stops being a measure of your worth and starts becoming a tool again. If this video made you feel seen, take that seriously. It means you're paying attention, and that's how real financial confidence begins. Remember, old rules don't define your success. Adapt, learn, and navigate. Subscribe for more financial clarity and confidence.